here to find out how to freeze your Georgia property taxes? Then you are in the right place. One of the most important things I learned many years ago as a Georgia property owner is how to freeze my property taxes 3 years at a time. It has served me and my business associates well. When you freeze your property taxes for 3 years, you don't have to worry about property tax increases each and every year. This is one benefit of being a Georgia property owner. As I make this video in June of 2026, tax appeal season is upon us. I want you as a Georgia property owner to be prepared for it. Tens of thousands of Georgia annual assessment notices started going out, with many more to follow through July of this year. However, with recent changes in 2026, many counties are taking longer to release their assessment notices this year than prior years. The basis of how to freeze property taxes lies in engaging and navigating Georgia's property tax appeal process. But it isn't just filling out a tax appeal form. You have to follow a certain path and beware of certain landmines. It's not hard to do, but it does require you to pay attention to details and seeing through the process to the very end. For the last few years, I've made videos where I teach people how to file property tax appeals. I update my videos with the latest information available at the time of recording. It's a good reason to subscribe to this channel. The biggest recent change happened when House Bill 581 took effect January 1, 2025. Because of HB 581, I've had to update my website and several videos. I've also updated my book, Tax Freeze: How to File and Win Property Tax Appeals in Georgia. The updated book is available on Amazon. Many uninformed people, if they even bother filing property tax appeals at all, only appeal for that year's assessed value, knowing very little about the 2025 trap that makes it harder to get the tax freeze than in prior years. Each year, the assessed value is based on property values as of January 1 of that tax year. Because I'm making this video in June of 2026, I am going to use the 2026 tax appeal season as my example. For the 2026 tax appeal season, assessed values are supposed to reflect values as of January 1, 2026. Property values for January 1, 2026 are supposed to be based on sales comps from 2025. Specifically, January 1 to December 31, 2025. No sales value in 2026 are supposed to count. Most people, including real estate agents, won't know this unless they've been taught this. They are accustomed to pulling sales counts for the most recent months. This is not what we do in a tax appeal. It is absolutely the wrong thing to do when you are filing tax appeals in Georgia when you are pulling recent comps. Assessed values provided to you by tax assessors are often wrong because of the many flaws of the mass appraisal system. It's impossible for any county to personally inspect each and every property every year. They use algorithms, formulas, and guesswork for most properties being valued. This is a big reason why the tax appeal process exists. It's there for citizens to use and help catch flaws and mistakes with the underlying mass appraisal system. In summary, remember that when you file a tax appeal in 2026, you must look at 2025 sales values. The benefit of you appealing your assessment now and freezing 2025 property values is that you won't have to deal with property tax increases until 2029. Doesn't that sound great? If you visit any tax assessor's office and ask about how to get a 3-year tax freeze, they may not understand you. It is a colloquial term, not a proper technical term. It's an informal phrase I use to teach and get the concept across. It's better known as the 299C. 299C is short code for Georgia Statute 48-5-299C, which details how the value freeze works. HB 581 in 2025 made an important change to the 299C freeze, which will be covered later in this video. No tax assessor's office will give you an easy to understand roadmap of how to do this like I do in this video or in my book. At best, they will speak in broad and vague terms, leaving you to figure the details out. You aren't going to get all the detailed explanations and instructions you might want, I can tell you that. But that is why you are here. Keep in mind that there are 159 counties in Georgia. My experience as of 2026 comes from having filed or worked on nearly 300 tax appeals across 7 different Georgia counties. That means there might be some small differences in specific counties. Beware of these small differences. However, the big picture will be the same for all Georgia counties. In order to get your 3-year property tax freeze in Georgia, you need to file a tax appeal, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the property value on your annual assessment notice. Unless you just bought your property recently, many of you have lived in your property or have tenants who occupy your property for some time. As such, there will be damage, defects, and deferred maintenance issues, which lower the property value. Trust me, there hasn't been a property I've inspected that I couldn't find something imperfect with it. You just have to know where to look and how to look for it. As a side note, there's something I need to talk about right now. My cat Jaggy wants you to swipe that like button so that this video is shared to more homeowners and property owners who might need this information. And as a special bonus, if you hit that subscribe button, I will make sure Jaggy gets a special treat. People don't realize that the majority of homes sold on the open market are in cleaned up, fixed up, and retail ready condition. As such, values from sales comps skew high compared to lived in, occupied homes with real life wear and tear. You have to think realistically that if you were to sell your lived in or tenant occupied property that hasn't been cleaned or fixed up in as is condition, would you really get the prices shown in sales comps? Probably not. This is one of the biggest reasons why most assessment notices are often wrong. You can test the value of your assessment by filling out your county's appeal form, the PT-311-A form. What you think the market value is in its lived-in, occupied condition with all the current defects and wear and tear as of January 1 of 2026. I have a separate video which goes into more detail on how to fill out the PT-311-A tax appeal form. I will have a link in the video description below. When you fill out and submit your tax appeal form to the tax assessor's office, you will generally get a written response within 100 days, but larger counties like Fulton County can take a lot longer. In recent years, tax appeals have surged in volume, so it might take longer in some counties. You need to call your tax assessor's office and follow up. This next step is crucial. One of two things will happen. You either get a no change notice, which means they have elected to keep the value they sent you, or you will receive a revised assessment notice with a lowered value. If you get a no change notice, which happens frequently nowadays, your case is automatically forwarded to the BOE. BOE stands for Board of Equalization. If you get a revised assessment notice, even if you agree with it, regardless of the lowered value, you must continue the appeal to get your 299C tax freeze. I know it sounds strange, but procedurally, it's the only way to get your 299C. You continue the appeal by writing and sending a short letter to the tax assessor's office within 30 days. A sample of my continuation letter can be found in my book. Some counties will provide you a free form letter for you to use. There is nothing fancy or complicated about it. When you continue your appeal, it will then be forwarded to the BOE for scheduling. The BOE is a department within your county superior court. They will send you the letter with the date, time, and location of your BOE hearing. The good news is you may not have to attend, but the formality of scheduling a BOE hearing will still occur. Once your tax appeal gets to the BOE, one of two things can happen. The worst case scenario is that you will have to attend the BOE hearing in person. The best case scenario is that you will speak or meet with a county appraiser to settle your tax appeal prior to the BOE hearing. The best case scenario is that you will speak or meet with a county appraiser to settle your tax appeal case prior to the BOE hearing. But you should always ask for the 299C value freeze or you might not get it. Often you can discuss this over the phone. Sometimes they will initiate a call or email to settle, but more often than not nowadays, you will have to initiate the call or email yourself. If you agree to settle your tax appeal with the tax assessor's office, they will email you a settlement form to sign. That settlement form should reference the 299C, which effectively means you are also securing your 3-year tax freeze. Your signed settlement form will be forwarded to the board for final approval. Keep a copy of the signed settlement form for your records. As a clarification, the 299C essentially freezes the property value for that year you filed plus 2 additional tax years. Using a 2026 tax appeal as the example, you reduce the value for 2026. It counts as tax year 1. And then that value is frozen for tax years 2027 and 2028 as years 2 and 3. That means you won't have to worry about it until tax year 2029. Going back to the worst case scenario, if the tax assessor's office will not settle with you prior to the BOE hearing for whatever reason, in order to get the 299C, you or someone you designate must plan to attend the BOE hearing. BOE hearings in metro Atlanta counties last 15 minutes. In other counties, you might get 20 minutes. BOE hearings are typically short in larger counties due to the volume. You might get more time in smaller counties. A few counties allow you to remotely attend a BOE hearing via Zoom video conferencing. It's convenient and worth asking about. If you have multiple properties you are appealing, call the BOE office and ask that your appeals be scheduled at the same date and time. It's more efficient for everyone for you to attend one longer hearing than coming back multiple times. Ideally, you as a property owner will attend a BOE hearing with evidence in hand. You will present your side to the BOE panel. The tax assessors will present their side to the BOE panel. At the end, the BOE panel will make their decision. You get a signed BOE determination letter with the value they decided upon. Sometimes they give it to you on the spot before you leave. Sometimes they will mail it to you. It depends on the county you are in. What's important to know before you leave the BOE hearing is if you get a value reduction of at least $1 to qualify for the 299C. If the value was reduced by at least $1, it will be effective for the current year plus 2 additional tax years. That means you are set for tax years 2026, 2027, and 2028. You shouldn't have to worry about it again until tax year 2029. There are some rare conditions in which you can lose the 299C, but that is the topic of another video I've made. I will have a link to that video in the description area below. There is a good chance that if you show up and make a good faith effort, this will be a non-issue. The BOE panel will likely give you a value reduction of some kind if you ask for it, so that you are eligible for the 299C. I believe the change made to the 299C by HB 581 was because of people who abused the system. They did no work or provided any evidence in their appeals, but still got their 299C. Those days are over for these folks. Last thing, if you unavoidably miss your BOE hearing or can't find someone to be your agent due to some emergency, you might still be able to get your 299C. But this unusual scenario goes beyond the scope of this video. It involves filing an additional notice within 30 days of the BOE hearing. If you want to learn more about the entire Georgia tax appeal process and the 299C, I recommend you get a copy of my book on Amazon. The next video you should watch is how to fill out Georgia's tax appeal form, the PT-311-A form. I will see you over in that video.